Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. John Kelly, criminal profiler here, and welcome to Killer News. Today we're going to be focusing on the Golden State Killer, probably one of the worst serial killers and serial rapists in U.S. history, if not the worst. What I'm focused on today is what went into making this monster. See, the thing of it is, we know he's a serial rapist, we know he's a serial killer, but how did he get there? And that's where the investigation takes place. We have to dive in to his childhood from the beginning to see what caused him to grow into this monster. We have to see and examine and even investigate what caused him to evolve. And we got some interesting news the other day from the New York Post. First news we've gotten on his childhood. It seems when he was 10 years old, and that, with most males, is the beginning of puberty, he witnessed his younger sister of 7 years old being raped by two men in a warehouse and felt completely powerless, was not able to do anything about it. He's only 10 years old. But what happened there is we have a predator that we know was 10 years old at the time, going through puberty and witnessing sex and violence coming together over his younger sister. Now, that can be really immersed into the psyche and can actually be part of the formulation of this man's horrendous fantasy as he grew older. So we have this young brain forming, we have this traumatic experience of sex and violence taking place and being embedded in his neurotransmitters in his brain chemical. At the same time, we have this young boy of 10 years old feeling powerless. And what are serial killers focused on? They're focused on power, control, and sex. In this case, we're seeing a connection between sex and violence. And with a lot of these guys, and I've seen it with Henry Lee Lucas, I've seen it with the serial killer we've interviewed, 13, there seems to be a short-circuiting taking place in the brain where this connection of sex and violence comes together, and as I mentioned earlier, creates this fantasy. But also we're looking at this young man feeling powerless at the time and having absolutely no control over the situation. And we know serial killers are very focused on having power and control and sex over their victims. This is something we know is part of their MO. So is this how this started? I'm not sure. We're going to have to wait and we're going to have to watch and see what else comes out in our investigation. Bottom line is more will be revealed. Please stay tuned. Please keep watching as we we'll continue to unravel the mystery of the Golden State Killer and see what created this Frankenstein monster.